Good afternoon. How's everybody? I hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday. Um, just here piddling around the shop, doing a few things, switching some vehicles out. Um, you know, didn't have a whole lot going on today, so I said, well, go by the shop and do a few things. But today I want to touch on a few things, like something a little different today. So on the FEOA site, I have guys that ask me. I tell everybody on the FEOA site or whatever car group I'm on, if you have any questions regarding to something I'm doing or you're wondering about something, feel free. Do not hesitate to direct message me on Facebook, Messenger, or Instagram. So my Instagram name, if nobody knows, is EOTTRACINGTEAM, and the profile will pop up with my red Escort on it. So back to that. So I tell everybody, if you have any questions about basic maintenance, performance, anything, just feel free to reach out to me. I'll tell you whatever you need to know, and if I can't figure it out, I'll find somebody that can help me out, help you out, or refer you to that person. So basically, what I'm getting at today is, people always inbox me and ask me, they say, hey man, what can I do performance-wise that's cheap? Or, hey man, I want to turbo my car, but I don't want to spend a lot of money. I want to do it cheap. Or, I just got this Escort that I just wanted to play with, and I just want to do it cheap, and then sometimes they'll say, well, I really don't want to spend a lot of money in a car because to me it's just not worth it, blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that. All right, so I'm going to get at this. So when you come to me and you say, well, I want to do this cheap, let me tell y'all something, man. I'm going to be straight up and honest. No offense to nobody. I'm not trying to be a jerk or nothing. But I'm just going to give it to you straight out. I'd rather give it to you straight than lie to you. That way you can't say, hey, you weren't honest. Well, I'm being honest with everybody and let you know what's going on. So there's no such thing as cheap when it comes to anything performance, period. If you want anything to make a difference on your car, whether it be an automatic or a 5-speed, there is no such thing as cheap. Whether it be a 1.9 SEFI, a 2.0 SPI, a 1.9 HO, 2.0 Z-Tac, or a 1.8 BP 05. None of those variants are going to be extremely cheap to build. Now, I will say, yes, they are cheaper than your average Honda, Mitsubishi, Eclipse, any other common cars out there, Supra, Nissan Sentra SERs, stuff like that, Evos and all that. They're way cheaper to build and play with than those cars are. But you cannot expect to spend a little bit of money and go fast. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. I've tried that for years. And I mean, honestly, for the money that I have in, before I went all standalone, the money that I have in our cars is nowhere near what some people spend, but it's still not on the cheaper side of things. It's still relatively somewhat expensive. When you're talking about buying fuel injectors, buying fuel pumps, a wide band kit, turbo manifold, and you have to drill an oil pan. You got to buy special fittings for that. You got to buy oil lines, fuel lines. And I tell y'all, braided fuel line is very expensive. I can tell you, the high pressure fuel injection hose that we use is almost $9 a foot. So that stuff is not cheap. It's special high pressure hose for fuel, and it is not cheap. So when you get into running 2 fuel pumps, I like running 2 fuel pumps on a stock computer just for the safety of it. It's worked for me for years. My wife's car is still on stock computer right now. She has 2 fuel pumps. So I just want to let you guys know, the guys that are just getting into this and just buying their Escorts and stuff and just getting in the game and getting their feet wet, guys, look, I don't mind helping you out and walking you through anything you need me to help you with. But when it comes to any kind of performance, turbo, nitrous, supercharger, any of those, any of those power adders, whether it be naturally aspirated or forced inducted, man, there's no such thing as cheap. And I'm going to be honest with you, I hate hearing that word when somebody tries to go fast or they just want 200 or 300 horsepower. That's not going to be a cheap deal. That's not going to cost you $50, or it's not going to happen in a weekend. It took me, my red Escort's been together for 13 years. I've had my purple Escort for about, I don't know, I'm a little over 10 years. And then, my wife's car, we bought that in 2018. And then I put that together 2 years ago with the turbo. So, and every single car that I've built out of the three that we have currently up and running right now that we race on the track have taken me years to dial in, months to years to get it right and to figure things out, little stuff. I mean, and it's high maintenance. These turbo cars are not something you can just throw together and just take off and be like, cool. You have to check your oil. You have to check, you have to check everything, man. You gotta make sure your fueling's right. You gotta make sure that everything you've put on, all your fittings are tight, all your couplers are tight. It's constant maintenance when it comes to a turbo car, especially on an automatic, because automatic, you gotta make sure the trans temp is good. You gotta have a temperature gauge for that. You gotta have a trans cooler. You gotta run good fluid. Make sure the fluid and filter are changed, and you use, like I said, use good fluid. If anybody wants to know what kind of fluid I use, I can post it on the site. It's no big deal. But guys, I'm gonna tell you, that there's no such thing as trying to be cheap in this game. So there's no way. There's no way. Prices are going up on the cars. Prices are going up on parts. Parts are becoming more and more harder to get. Back order. A lot of factories are shut down due to COVID. So parts are very limited. Material is limited to, things and parts and material are limited to, to availability. So, I mean, I was putting my purple car together and I searched all over the freaking country for a set of ARP head studs. And if it wasn't for Jonathan Reel, who was willing to sell me his ARP head studs because he wasn't using them at the time, and sell them to me for the same, of course, sell them to me for what a set would cost, so he could actually back order his when he needed them. I wouldn't have, I wouldn't have, I'd have been stuck. I'd have been stuck, and I wasn't about to use no head bolts. So yeah, man, it's crazy. And I was fortunate for Jonathan Reel. Thank you again, buddy, for doing that. I really appreciate you. But yeah, man. So like, y'all new guys cannot get on here and say cheap. All the guys that have been building Escort for years, like myself, and a few other guys on the site, can honestly tell you there's no such thing as cheap. I mean, these guys that were running 12s and 11s back in the day, I mean, that stuff didn't take a weekend. That stuff didn't, cost a little bit of money. You got to be ready to spend some cash. I mean, I have a parts list for 1.9 SCFI automatic right now that I made for a guy. And he told me, he said, that's a lot. I didn't realize how much stuff I needed and how much it was going to cost. I said, yeah, man. I said, just that little parts list, depending on what you buy, it's going to cost you $300 to $500, maybe to $600, just depending on, what kind of parts you use, what name brands you use and stuff like that, where you get them from, whether you buy them new or on Marketplace or on the site or wherever, man. I mean, you got to take into consideration that stuff is not cheap. Nothing is cheap. It cost me a little bit of money to put my purple car together to get it where it is right now. You know what I mean? My wife's car cost me some money. My red car cost me some money. So, I mean, it's not This is not nothing that you can cheap out on, especially if you go into a dyno and stuff and you're trying to make power. Sometimes what you have running at the racetrack, playing around with the car, and running 13s and stuff like that with 250, 260 horsepower might not be enough. The equipment you have for that setup might not be enough for what you're trying to achieve what you're trying to grow to. So you have to go and change your charge pipes, you have to go like with T-bolt clamps and all that stuff. I mean, and different couplers and all that, 4-ply couplers. And, so, I mean, it's never a cheap game. So like I tell everybody, and I'm going to tell everybody, be ready, be prepared to spend at least $1,000, and parts and stuff like that. And, and trying to get, the car set up for a turbo, supercharger, or nitrous, whatever you're trying to do. So, and that is not including the fact that some of you guys are not mechanically inclined. Some of you guys are taking these cars to your buddies to work on, other mechanics and stuff like that. So you got to take into account also that that's going to cost extra money on top of the parts that you're buying. So your mechanic may charge you $500, $600, $700, $800. He might charge you another $1,000. So now you're $2,000 in, just like that. It adds up very fast. And a lot of you guys will also ask me questions, and I'll give you advice, and it's like stuff you've never done before, but you're so persistent on doing other things or doing what you were going to plan to originally do anyway. If that's the case, guys, then there's no need to ask me for advice. I mean, I know it's one of those deals where you either take my advice or you leave it. But if you already have a mindset of what you're going to do, then there would be no need to ask me my advice. If you want my advice, if you come to me and say, hey, bud, hey, bro, like, I would like to know your opinion on this. This is what I plan to do. I just wanted to get your opinion, but this is my plans. And I could tell you, be like, well, if it was me, I'd do this, do that third, whatever, but sometimes those decisions that you guys make are not the best ones, and it ends up costing you in the long run. And that's what I try to save everybody from, wasting time and wasting money, because I've done a lot of that building cars, man, is buying cheap junk and not listening to people and, just doing whatever I wanted to do. And I had to find out the hard way, charge pipes blowing off, busting fuel lines, breaking, blowing motors up, messing up transmissions. I've been through it all. So, I mean, I know I've been where you guys are trying to go. So if you come to me for advice, I'm going to go above and beyond and bend over backwards to get you the info you need to make sure that you're right and that things will be right for you. But some of you guys that plan on going turbo and wanting to do these big projects and stuff like that, I'm going to tell you, if you don't have any experience, you guys need to do a lot of research, man. Do a lot of research before you decide to build anything. Because I'm telling you right now, it's not a cakewalk. It's not as easy as you think, especially if you really don't know what's going on. Or if I'm talking to you and telling you, speaking in, a lot of people say I'm talking Chinese to them because they don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So, you guys, you're going to have to do some research on your own like I did. I still do research on a lot of stuff, man, and this is a new setup for me on my purple car. So it's like I'm learning all over again, but I have the knowledge and know-how of, how everything works and what's going on. But yeah, when I change a car around or change a setup, or for me and my wife, yeah, it takes a little getting used to. So you got to also figure out what the car likes, what the car don't like. You got to learn the car. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot too, especially if you're going to race. Even being on the street, I mean, I know some of you guys say, well, I just want 200, 250 horsepower to play with on the street. Yeah, okay. Well, that's still not going to, you're not going to take $500 and just be like, cool, I can, now I can go play on the street. Some of you may get lucky and you might get a bunch of parts donated to you, or somebody might give you some stuff for cheap. But just starting out and you don't really know where to source a lot of stuff, you're going to spend some money. So like I tell everybody, man, $1,000, just plan on spending $1,000. That way I don't tell you, oh, you could probably spend $500 on these parts and you're $800, $900 in, and you go, I thought you said this stuff was going to cost $500. You're not going to blame that on me. You're not going to blame that on me. So I'm telling you right now, be prepared to spend at least $1,000. It may be even a little more, but I'm just prepping y'all. If you go into this game, make sure you're ready. Make sure you got your ducks in a row. Make sure you got the car that you want to build. Make sure you got the car that you want to build. Don't just get something and just say, heck with it, I'll just do this for now, and then turn around and do something else. Get the vehicle that you want to truly build before you start the build. That way you don't waste time and money. So, that's what I always tell people. And always, if you guys that have lots of projects going on, that's just word of advice, man. One project at a time. One project at a time. That way you don't get overwhelmed. You don't find yourself spending a whole bunch of money unnecessarily. Like, it's got to be a line, man. You got to draw a line somewhere, because you can't work on 5, 6, 7, 8 cars at a time. Buying parts for this car, buying parts for that car. Some of the vehicles, they ain't even running. So, so what we usually do, I take 1 or 2 cars a year and fix or repair it, whatever we need to do to it, get it right for a car show, for a drag race event, whatever. 1 car a year, man. Just 1 car a year. One project at a time. It's, you can't, too many projects will it'll overwhelm you. You'll get upset, you get pissed off, and then you're ready to give up on everything and sell everything, because you spend too much money, and then, you realize you're spending a whole lot of money and nothing's gotten done. And so it's just a little advice, man, a little encouragement at the same time, and a little heart, and a little what they call tough love. I care about everybody that's trying to build cars, any cars enthusiasts and stuff that's into cars and stuff, man. I care about everybody in that aspect. But the guys that are coming to me and just saying, hey, man, I just want to do this cheap. I don't really feel like they're car enthusiasts. I think these guys are just wanting to do it just because. And I could be wrong. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. I could be wrong. But, that's how it comes off to me. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is, guys, just, all you guys that are just new and getting into this, just please make sure you got the car you want to build. Make sure you're ready to spend at least $1,000 on parts or whatever it may be. If you're not familiar with a lot of things, or this is your first go around with any turbo anything, and you don't really know a whole lot, my best solution to you is to do some research. Do some research. I don't mind answering questions. I don't mind walking nobody through anything. But the thing is, when you have to walk somebody through specific things when it comes to mechanics, you've got to understand you've got to understand how to pay attention to detail. You got to know detail. You got to know how things work. You got to know, how things operate, man. If you don't, you're going to be lost, and it's going to be kind of hard for you. Because, it was like that for me at first. I didn't have a clue when I started getting into cars. Only thing I knew how to do was hook up a stereo system and check my oil. That's it. Now, remember, I first got into changing my oil and stuff like that, and then I gradually moved up to, doing a little more like head gaskets and stuff like that, man, pulling the motor apart all the way down and putting it back together. I went to a mechanic school. I was very fortunate and blessed to have a lot of older guys around me that showed me the ropes. I had guys around me that drag raced. I had guys around me that were ASE _1 certified, just plain mechanics, fabricators, everything, man. And those guys, a few of those guys I still talk to and deal with to this day. And I appreciate every last one of them that took the time to, put me under their wing for a little bit and show me some things. Even today, everybody that's helped me and showed me stuff, thank you, and I appreciate it. If it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't know what I know now, and the manufacturers that I've called directly and talked to people and technical support and all that. I thank all of them guys for taking the time out to explain things to me so I understand. So, and sometimes that's what you got to do if you're determined to learn, if you really want to know something. So that way it opens lots of doors for you, so you can make decisions on your own, when it comes to stuff like that, building motors and transmissions and stuff like that. So heck, I mean, like I was telling y'all, man, like this automatic thing was my first time ever messing with any automatic anything, especially forced inducted. I also used to 5-speed, so this was like new for me. This was new for me, so I had to kind of open up another door and learn more stuff. And luckily, I got lots of guys that do automatic stuff, so that helped a lot. And 2 years in, we've been doing pretty good. So, but yeah, man, just basically wanted to get on here and explain that, and just like I said, man, a project is a dedication. A project is not something that you can just be like, oh, I'll just do this on a weekend and boom, be done. No, you got guys that have been building cars for the last 5 years, one car, and they're 5 years in and they're not even halfway through. But, and it takes a long, long time to build a car. If it's for a car show, if it's for drag racing, it takes a while, man. It's not something you can do over in a weekend. You might be able to put a turbo kit on a car in a weekend and get it running, but that doesn't mean it's complete. You still got to tune it. You're going to have to go through trials with it, run it, and see what else needs to be adjusted. Nothing is ever perfect on the first initial build. Even professionals have issues, that's been doing this stuff for 20, 30, 40 plus years, building and fabricating and tuning cars. I mean, they run into different stuff every day. Every time they roll a different car on their dyno, up on their rollers, they don't know what's going to, they have no idea what they're going to get into. Sometimes it's easy and sometimes it can be a basket case, but just wanted to let you guys know, man, I appreciate each and every one of you that come to me for advice or tag me in posts and stuff like that to help out. I don't mind helping nobody. Trust me and believe. You want to know something, I'll tell you. If I don't know, I'll do my best to try to get the answer for you. And if I still can't do that, then what I'll do is, if I know somebody that will know that answer, I'll refer you right to them. I have no problem with that. So, well, like I said, guys, thanks a lot for coming to me and asking me questions and all that. And I really do appreciate it. And I appreciate y'all, and I don't mind teaching. I don't mind helping. I don't mind teaching. But you guys have got to want to learn. This is not something you can just throw together or be like, all right, I'm going to just do this real quick and boom. No, this is not like putting on a cold air intake or a set of headers or a muffler, or plugs, wires, blaster coil, ignition box, something like that. This goes a little more in depth. So in a 1.9 liter, man, you're limited. In a 2.0 SPI, you're limited to manifold options. You got pretty much one true legit manifold option, and that's the log style manifold on eBay with the external wastegate. It holds a T3 turbo with the external wastegate. You could do like I did. If there's any around, if you find any, you could do the first generation exhaust manifold, first generation Escort GT exhaust manifold, and just J it up. And you could have a top mount manifold, or you could make it to where it mounts on the bottom, and just all in how you want to do it. And you could also do like a 2.0 SPI manifold. That's the first turbo manifold I had back in the day, and I had an IHI up underneath of it. I just drilled it and made it work. But yeah, man, like I say, you got maybe 3 at the most, but you got maybe 3 at the most, but you got one legit one that will bolt right up, and you just bolt a turbo up to it in the wastegate, and then bam. But the other 2, you probably gonna have to do a little bit of work, a little bit of fab work to make them work, but it's possible. So sometimes you gotta make things if you want, sometimes you gotta make parts if you want parts. Sometimes there's a lot of things out here, a lot of motors and stuff they don't make stuff for, so you just got to make it work. Do it the best with what you got. So I've run into many cases where I've had to fabricate a lot of things, so I don't mind doing it. as long as it's not going to take me 8 years to do. So, but yeah, I just wanted to get on here and let you guys know that. And like I said, I appreciate each and every one of you that come to me and ask me questions. Thank you for referring me to other people, and they message me and ask me questions. I don't mind answering questions and helping people out. So, but like I said, man, just have your ducks in a row and know what you want to do when you start a project. And especially for you guys that are new to this, I do recommend you do a lot of research. If you're wanting to do turbo, do research on turbochargers, man. They got a whole article out on how to turbocharge your car and what to do and all that stuff, man. So it's out there. It's out there. If I had time to write a book on it, I would, but I don't. So maybe one day I'll do it, but I don't know. And the thing is, you got 4 different variants, man. You got a 1.9 SCFI, a 2.0 SPI, a 2.0. You got the 2.0 Z-Tech, and you got a 1.8 BP. So all of those engines respond to boost different. All those engines take different style manifolds, different style injectors. The 1.9 SCFI and the 2.0 SPI, I think they take the same injector, but the SPI is a little shorter. Both of them take the EV1, EV6 plug, EV1 style plug. And you can use the EV1 plug and the EV6 style body, all that stuff. So I think the EV12 too, but that's a whole nother subject. So I don't really have time to get into all that. But yeah, I mean, just you guys, and like I said, you got any questions, feel free to message me. Either way, just hit me up if you guys need help or whatever. You're trying to build a project, you need to know where to start or what you should do, or if you're really undecided what you want to do as far as power outages. I don't mind answering questions, but you guys, what I recommend to you to do, man, is do some research, and if you're really into it, if your heart is into it, then it'll work out for you. But if your heart is not in it, then it's just going to be a waste of time and money for you. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to be honest. I don't mind helping somebody that has their heart into it and is ready to learn. Like my wife, her heart is in it. She was ready to learn. She was ready to go fast. So I took time out to show her. And I'll take time out to show anybody. But your heart has got to be there. The passion for it has got to be there. If you're just doing this because, whatever, I'm not really caring about what happens. I'm not trying to learn anything. I just want to turbo it. And if it blows, it blows. If not, oh well. I find myself hard helping people like that. I hate to say it, but your heart has to be in it. You have to be a true car enthusiast type of person to be in this kind of game. And if you're not about it, then don't waste your time, and don't waste other people's time. So, or your money. So, but, for those who are wanting to turbocharge a 1.9 SCFI or a 2.0 SPI, I'm your guy, man. Even I can help you guys with a 2.0 Z-Tech as well, as well as with the BP, 1.8 BP. So, hey, man, I'm here for advice. I can help as much as I can. But I'll tell you right now, guys, if you guys are planning to do this on a stock computer, I do not recommend this to people that's just new to this, because you got to know what to do and how to monitor a lot of things when you're messing with a stock ECU, because a stock ECU can flip on you in a heartbeat. Trust me, I know. I've had my stock ECU flip on me, go lean for a little bit, and pop a head gasket out of nowhere. So that's why I'm kind of getting away from that. But, I was also trying to run too much boost on a factory computer. So that was my fault. But yeah, man, that's why I recommend just standalone all the way. But if you're trying to do something, you're a car enthusiast, man, and you go to car shows and you want to do something to have fun, give you a little bit of power, yeah, the stock computer won't be bad. But once you start trying to make certain power levels, the stock computer ain't going to like it too much. So basically, you just come to me with your ideas and what you plan to do. Should you do a stock computer or a standalone? And I'll let you know either or. as far as standalone for the 1.9 and SEFI and the 2.0, you can do like a micro squirt setup. My ECU is basically based off of a Mustang with the EOTTRA plug, and my tuner, he just basically took my EOTTRA plug and put it on the Mustang Mega Squirt board, and I got a micro squirt module and all that stuff. So I'd have to get a little more information together on it, but there are aftermarket tuning systems out there available for the 1.9 SEFI and the 2.0 SPI, but they're not. Some of them, they may not be plug and play, but you can wire them in. So you can still wire them in. It's not as easy as plug and play, but you have to wire them in. And also wiring in actually helps you learn a lot about wiring and stuff too. So I don't claim to be a genius, guys, but I don't claim to be a pro. I'm just trying to help out the community and whoever needs help. So feel free to message me anytime. If I don't get back to you right away, I will get back to you. Sometimes I get busy with work or working on cars and stuff, our cars or whatever. So feel free to hit me up. And like I said, guys, I mean, when you want to start a project, just make sure you got your ducks in a row and just try to figure out what you need. And let's try to encourage each other. Let's not try to steer people away from wanting to do a project. If they want to build a certain engine, try to help them be successful with it. That's what I try to do. You know, I have 3 variants of turbo Escorts, and 2 of the variants were very, very underestimated, and we made them work and they perform great. So there's no such thing as it can't be done, because I've proved many a times that it can. So not trying to be arrogant, but I have proved that it can be done. So but you guys just starting out, you know, try to do some research. I'll help you as much as I can, but just make sure your heart's in it before you even think about doing it. So I just wanted to let you know that off top. So thank you guys for tuning in and listening. I know this is a long video. It's 32 minutes long, but you know, I couldn't explain all that in 5 minutes. So, and plus I want to be kind of detailed as well. So thank you guys for tuning in once again. And like I said, feel free to message me. Feel free to get into contact with me if you need some advice, or you're trying to do something or a certain build or something like that. So I'll help everybody as much as I can. So thank you guys. God bless you. And hope everybody has a great rest of their Sunday. Enjoy the rest of their weekend. I don't know what football team is playing tonight. I used to be into football and stuff a lot, but unfortunately, I like building cars better. Daggone dog barking out there. But yeah, who knows? Who knows why he's barking? He retarded. But thanks guys, appreciate it, and thanks for tuning in. And like I say, if you guys got any questions, need any help, feel free to message me on Facebook or message me on Instagram. One more time, my Instagram name is EOTTRACINGTEAM. EOTT Racing Team. So just feel free to message me on there or follow me, you know, and I'll help out whoever I can. So thanks guys, appreciate you tuning in, and till next time, later.